psychologically, inwardly, we human beings, wherever we are the world, psychologically. The world is us. The world is me, and the world, I am the world. And that is a psychological, absolute fact. Though you may have white skin and brown skin and black skin or whatever it is outwardly, affluent, rich, prosperous, many cars, all the rest of it. Or you may be very poor, but inwardly, deep down, we're all the same. We suffer, we are lonely, we are in sorrow, conflict, misery, confusion, depending on somebody to tell us what to do, how to think, what to think. We are slaves to propaganda from the various churches and various religions, sects. That's what's happening all over the world, not only politically, by the experts, by the governments and so on, but inwardly, deep down, we are slaves to propaganda. We are conditioned human beings, whether we live in India, America, or here. I hope that one realize that, not intellectually, not verbally, because that has very little meaning, but actually see the fact of it. That you living in America, all the richest, marvelous country, crazy people, drug-minded, you know all that's happening in this country, the violence, the brutality, the divisive communes based on their beliefs and so on. But when you sweep all that aside, put all that aside, whether here in India or in Europe, we go through the same mill of misfortune, uncertainty, deep sorrow. So we are actually psychologically the world, and the world is you. Once you realize this fact, not verbally, not ideologically, or as a statement of fact, but actually deeply feel the fact, realize the fact that you are not different from the other, however far away he is inwardly, because he suffers enormously, is terribly frightened, uncertain, insecure, both physiologically as well as psychologically. And when you realize that, and in the examination of that realization, you're not concerned with your little self, you're concerned with the total human being. You understand this? With the total humanity which is you, because you are the world. So when we are talking about these matters, we are concerned with the human being, not with Mr. X or Y or somebody else, because he is the total psychological entity as a human being, wherever he lives, I hope this is clear. This is factual. You may be conditioned in a particular way. You may be Catholic, a Protestant, God knows what else you are. Baptist, and Jesus-minded, you are conditioned. And in India, it is the same, they are conditioned by thousands of years of certain kinds of beliefs, superstitions, ideas, gods, and all the rest of it. But below that conditioning, in the depth of their human mind, when they are alone, when they are facing the life as this, there is sorrow, there is pain, there is grief, there is anxiety. So, we are the world and the world is you. And when one sees that as an actual, irrevocable fact, then you begin to think entirely differently. Then you begin to observe, not as a individual having troubles and anxieties, but entire humanity is having it. Then it gives you an extraordinary strength. I don't know if you followed all this. It gives you extraordinary vitality. Then you are not alone. You are the entire history of mankind, if you know how to read that book, which is you. And that's what we are going to do. We're going to read together the history of mankind enshrined in you as a human being. This is not rhetoric. This is not a verbal explosion. But a serious fact to be deeply concerned with, a fact which we deny, because we think we are so individualistic. We are so concerned with ourselves, with our petty little problems, with our little gurus, with our little beliefs. But when you realize an extraordinary fact, then either it gives you tremendous strength, a great urgency to investigate and transform oneself, because you are mankind. And when there is such transformation, you affect the whole consciousness of man. I don't know if you realize this. You actually affect the whole consciousness of man, because you are the entire humanity. And when you change fundamentally, deeply, when there is psychological revolution in you, then naturally, as you are part of that consciousness of a human being, which is the rest of the humanity, the consciousness of the world is affected. You see the reason of this, the logic of this. Your consciousness is affected by the various prophets, the various warmongers, Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin. All these people have affected mankind. But we are not aware of it. And what we are going to do together during these talks to penetrate the layers of our consciousness and investigate whether it's possible to transform the content of our consciousness, and out of that a different dimension of energy and clarity may come into being. That's what I'm concerned with. And therefore, it's a serious matter, not to be played with. If you are not interested, if you are not serious, don't waste your time coming here. It's a waste of your energy. And I really mean it, because this is very, very, very serious. And it is a voluntary, not a thing that you are persuaded or rewarded, because our conditioning is reward and punishment. But in investigating our consciousness, which is the entire consciousness of mankind, we are delving into ourselves, and from there come upon what is truth.